Alright guys, just as I promised, I'm doing a review of Legion in retrospect now that it's ending. Okay, so first off, we're going to be checking out here is I'm going to be going through all the zones and tell you what I thought of them. Alright, you see I'm on my Wrath tag here. And here we're starting off here in Zuna, okay? So yeah, Zuna right here on this edge, you see there's a shitload of world quests and stuff like that. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention in my last one that actually kind of sucks. Blizzard appears to have disabled the Garrison Mission Manager, which was also used for the Order Hall missions. So now we can't use that anymore to basically get... It basically plans out your missions so you get guaranteed to get the maximum results. So we can't use it anymore, which also kind of sucks. Anyway, so here we are in Zuna. I liked this zone. This zone was actually really fun. You start off over here helping the Illidari, the demon hunters, and then you go over there and you fight like a shitload of demons and stuff like that. And then you get to the real meat of this place over here, where you actually help a bunch of cursed night elves and their leader, Prince Ferondus. And this actually is a very cool kind of little bit of side story, and it's as you're looking for the pillar of creation here called the Tide Stone of Golganeth, and it actually even gives you a little bit of a teaser of what we might be expecting from Ajara in the next expansion, because she's supposed to be in it, and they're looking for the Tide Stone, and you eventually have to stop their plans. It leads into the dungeon, which is the the Eye of Ajara, and you fight. Destroy the Wrath of Ajara before it becomes fully formed, and you get the Tide Stone of Golganeth. But it says that the Tide Stone had been shattered, and this had been done by Ajara before she was transformed into whatever the hell she is now. So that's just an indication just how friggin' uber powerful she's supposed to be. Because shattering a Titan, one of the pillars of creation, that should have been impossible. And then you go over here, and there's actually a bit of story regarding the Blue Dragons and some Nightfallen elves.
It seems Gerahad's recipe was incomplete.
Okay, and it's pretty good and all, and this actually leads into the story for
the wise monk chooses their own style.
Yeah, shut up,
rather than letting
okay,
opinion dictate.
And it actually has one of the saddest stories I've ever seen, is where you get help from one of the Nightfallen called Ruinous. He's actually kind of a withered, and you actually see him. He gets redemption at the very end, and he helps you, but at the end he loses his mind and becomes just a withered, like basically a mindless animal. I was hoping we'd see some more of him later, but we never did. There's also a lot of hidden nooks and crannies all around Zuna. And there's like little world bosses and stuff everywhere. I mean, it's a really packed zone. There's a lot to do here. And then there's this mysterious cliff. This mysterious mountain. There's stuff up here. It's a very good zone. It's got a lot of stuff in it. There's a lot of side stuff in it. So I just really like this zone. There was a lot to do, and it actually felt engaging to get into it. All right, so we're going to be moving on to the next zone. Alright, so here we are in Val'sharah, and I kind of hinted this in the last video, and I'm just going to say this right now. I frickin' hate this place. Okay, this is like one of the crappiest designed zones I have ever seen. And it's because of all of this shit. Look at these damn trees. They are everywhere. And this place is covered with... It's blocked by walls of trees and cliffs, and you can't get anywhere. Okay, there are look at that. There are very strict paths you have to follow. So like, say you want to get here, and you're like right over here. So normally you just go, I just go straight line right here. Nope, there's a shitload of cliffs and trees in the way, so you got to go all the way around here, all the way back over here just to get to here. And this is actually the place where we got our first raid tier. And that was the Emerald Nightmare, and that was actually a pretty interesting raid. But look at this! Look at this! You can't, even when we got flying, you can't get around this place because of all these damn trees.
The Nightmare's assault on the Temple of Elune is ceaseless. We must lend our...
And while this is pretty cool here, the world tree that's all corrupted by the Nightmare and stuff. There was actually one thing that I actually found kind of disappointing, is apparently there's an area over here where you can get into a dungeon. I forgot what the dungeon's called. But yeah, Dark Heart Thicket. But you can actually get into it like on the world map. But if you do, it actually just kicks you out. And I'm like, we can't explore it out of instance. That's kind of lame. Also, the Druid Order Hall, which is the only Order Hall that's like kind of out in the open world, is located over there somewhere. And if you're not a Druid, they kick you out there too. So you can actually just fly right into the Order Hall. Oh no, the hunters also have one that's out in the world.
A beautiful wood,
no,
but now is overrun by monsters.
So I hate this zone. This zone is designed very badly. Even when you're flying, you can't get anywhere because even if you fly over the trees, you try to get to where you want to go, and it's just everything gets in your way. Also, the story was kind of annoying. Malfurion was really damn annoying, especially when you're looking for him. He was like, Tyrande, I need you. That was really dumb. The cutscene was pretty cool. It actually makes us really wonder, though, what Elune is, because she actually uses her powers to turn, spoiler alert, Ysera into a constellation after you kill her. So that's like basically all of the dragons, of all the dragonflights have basically got, all of the aspects have gone ape shit at some point or been used in some way. So that was like that's like all of them. Basically, the dragon aspects were a complete waste of time. I don't know why the Titans even created them. They were kind of dumb. But basically, that's all I have to say about this place. I really don't care about it. There aren't any branching storylines here, except for, in fact, there's one, and that's Lornathil, where you meet some Gilneans who weren't affected by the Worgen curse because they left early. And then there's the crap going down here in Blackbird Hold.
Never gets washed.
Other than that, there's nothing here. This place is just like... And I'm actually thankful for that, because I did it once when I first got here. After that, I never did anything again. I avoided this damn zone like the plague. Okay, I hate this place. It's a pain. The story is boring and annoying. The place is annoying as hell to navigate, even if you have flying, for crying out loud. I just hate this place. Okay, this is the worst zone. So in this one... You know, Blizzard, you failed horribly. Okay, so we're going to be moving on to the next zone. Thank God. Alright, we're here in High Mountain. This zone, I kind of give it like a C. You know, it's kind of in the middle. It's not as bad as Val-Shara, but it's not one of my favorite zones. It's annoying to navigate because of all the mountains, you know? It's like, you see, like, you want to get over there, this big-ass mountain's in your way. So you can't even fly over this mountain specifically, because at the top is the Hunter Order Hall, and they'll kick you out. So you got to go all the way around if you want to get over there. You know, see, there's the... You have to go all the way around the mountain if you want to get up there. This place was pretty good, though. It has some interesting side quests. The main quest was actually kind of fun, except when you have to do this side stuff like helping that stupid baby Tauren named Muzi and stuff like that. But you get to see some... stuff about Deathwing, and I thought that was really interesting. One thing I thought I really didn't like, it was previewed. This is why I don't like to do the PTRs and the betas, is because in the PTR and beta of High Mountain, we were going to see Wrathion play a major role. Okay, we were like, oh man, okay, yeah, the Legion's here. Wrathion bitched about the Legion constantly throughout all of Mists of Pandaria, so finally in fact, that's why he actually started the whole thing with the Iron Horde, was because of the Legion. So we figured, okay, so now he's gonna do something, and he didn't do jack crap. They rewrote the story for High Mountain, wrote Wrathion out completely, and Wrathion makes no appearance in this game other than some stupid thing with Chromie. That's it. I mean, other than that, he has no purpose in this game, in this expansion, and he should have a major role. In fact, he's the one who should be directing us all over the world, not Khadgar. Not Khadgar again. Khadgar was annoying as shit when we had to deal with him in Warlords. I mean, the role that Khadgar's playing, that should be the role that Wrathion played, okay? Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. Another thing that was really good about High Mountain was right here. There was a little quest you can do to get this thing from Aviana. The same thing we got Aviana's feather from, you know, from back in Warlords. It's right here. Allows you to fly high, but it only works to jump high and then slowly glide down, but at high speed. Only good in Draenor. But combining the thing you get from her with a goblin glider, it actually gave you like a pseudo flying. So those of you who did that quest and had like goblin gliders or had engineering and had one built into your cape, you could actually get like a pseudo flying. It allowed you to get around a lot easier than any other way was at the time before we got flying. So it was super useful. I think Blizzard actually regretted putting it in the game because people were abusing the hell of it. I know I did. It was great to get around. The stories here. This is also the location of one of the easiest dungeons.
Have I
Neltharion's lair.
Of the Hosen
and
the buttercream pie?
It's a pretty fun dungeon.
Perhaps
and it actually has a lot of side stuff going on. It actually looks like a dungeon you could really like get out and explore. But this place has like everything. Here's Thunder Totem. And one little thing, I don't know if a lot of people noticed that if you're on the bottom of Thunder Totem, where I forget where her name, Nayla is or whatever. She's like the head of the High Mountain tribes. If you jump, it's actually one giant drum and it makes a playing sound. To the north, there's also some side quests you can do with Murky. And that guy who was like a Murloc King or something like that. It's a guy it's a night elf in a Murloc suit. And that's actually pretty cool. Other than that, there really isn't a lot to do here. So that's why I kind of give it I kind of make it about average. It's less than a Zuna, but it's still better than Val'sharad because it's kind of a pain in the ass to navigate, but it's not that bad because you can actually fly around here without too much trouble. And even before we got flying, if you got the feather and everything, this place was a lot easier to navigate. In fact, I always did this one first because it's so damn far away from the main hub, which is Dalaran over here. I mean, it's a long ass way. So we're going to be moving on to the next one because there isn't really much to say about this place other than what I've done. Alright, here we are. This is actually my favorite zone of the entire expansion is Stormheim. I really, really like this place. It had a really cool intro scene with, was it Gen Greymane and, you know, between his rivalry and Sylvanas, you know, taking on the Horde fleet. We lost the Skyfire, which was the most powerful ship in the Alliance fleet because Gen was an idiot, and so was the Admiral he was working with. There you can see what's left of the Skyfire when it went down. Dumbass. But there's a lot of cool stuff here in Stormheim. I mean, there's like little caves and stuff like that that take you to like rare bosses and stuff. See this huge statue? There's actually an entrance at the base of it. You can go all the way to the top and get some. There's a treasure chest inside of its head. It is a long ass way up. I'm going to tell you that. There's a cool world boss in here. As you can see, there's warden towers here. The other ones have them too, but it's like whatever. The whole quest line here is really interesting as you're getting ready to meet Odin and go to the Halls of Valor. You know, you can see, I mean, the architecture around here is just really cool because this is all like Titan related. I love the Titan crap in this place. Also, there's stuff involving Helia. I mean, there aren't really a lot of side quests here, but there is a lot here. There's this mysterious island out here that has really high level enemies, but there isn't really anything to do out here. There's this lighthouse all the way hell out there in the middle of nowhere. That's part of a quest. There's a really annoying quest you have to do here if you want to get like one of the recipes where you help some goblins and they cheat you. And then you got to come back and kill them because you found they killed the nice Tauren couple that was there before you. You can actually find the Tauren couple in the trees. You know, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff here. And there's actually stuff on the back. Like over here, there's like a Murloc. There's like a Murloc village, and it looks like they overwhelmed a Vrykul village and kicked everybody out. I mean, there's just a lot in here. I mean, there isn't much in the way of side stuff because it's all basically related to the same quest. But that. Actually, what makes it interesting because there's so much and it's all related to the same quest. And I also like the music here. I mean, and this also has a really awesome, badass scene where Gen, in his wolf form, fights Sylvanas. I mean, that was just amazing just watching that. I'm like, eating popcorn on that one. So, this was actually pretty cool. And then there's the dungeon and the raid for the Halls of Valor, you know. So, you know, Trial of Valor, Halls of Valor, you know, it's all stuff. It's all in here. And look, there's all this little buildings and everything everywhere. So this is a really cool zone. I like it. It's one of my favorite zones of all time. And this is, you actually meet a whole new race of dragons, but they don't. This is actually the only real flaw I have. This is there's like a whole race of dragons here, and they're intelligent. I mean, we've run into non-intelligent dragon-like creatures before, but this is the first time we've ever run into any of them that were intelligent, and they don't explain who they are, or what they are. They're like storm dragons, and they don't explain why they are. They don't seem to be as powerful as the aspects were, but you know, they're still pretty cool. So next, we got 3 more zones to go, guys, and this is what's interesting about Legion. It has not 1, not 2, but 3 max level zones for Legion. So we're going to be checking those out next. Okay, so here we are in Suramar. This was the first max level zone, and for a lot of you guys, you know, if you're like me, you know, this was a horrendous grind fest. You know, trying to get ancient mana, trying to build up the whatchamacallit, the withered training, but I kind of like this zone because I like the city, being able to run around the city. Oh, excuse me, I don't know what the hell that came from. I just had water to drink recently.
Mana worms are critical in guarding.
Seriously? But I like being able to run around a city and have it be a zone, and it's cool as you get this if you do the zone quest enough. You get this mask, turns you into one of the Nightborn. So it allows you to run around the city basically without fear. There are some detectors everywhere, and they actually started up a meme, you know, something's not right. It became a big-time meme, but there's a lot of cool buildings to explore. I mean, this place is actually pretty damn huge. And there isn't really any side stuff in this place either. It's basically one long quest chain, but a lot of your quests for your professions have to deal with this place. But everything here, just like with Stormheim, ties into the main quest, and it's really cool. I actually discovered some sort of little glitch when the game was first started. When this expansion was started, I used to run around the back of
citizens are desperate to break free of Alison's team.
The Nighthold right here, the central area, which is where the raid is. And I used to run around the back of this place. I mean, what's cool is there isn't really any way to get in there, you know, terrestrially. You can't get through the gate. You know, that's where the time stop spell happens. I mean, if you actually went through the whole quest, you got a crap load of artifact power. Too bad it's completely useless now. I wonder if those things are worth any gold anymore. I think I sold one. I got a big one and I sold it for like 100 gold. But this thing is actually populated by enemies. You know, level 110 elites. And it's always been this way, but there's no way to get in. That's actually a pretty good detail from Blizzard. And one thing I noticed is that when I came around back here, there was always an enemy that would fall. They would fall out of here and land in the water, a level 110 elite. It was really weird. I don't know why they fell, but they did that all the time. I mean, other than that, there isn't really... There's a side thing you can... There is... Oh, yeah, there is one side story here. Is where you go over here and you help out some Vrykul, and you actually become their leader. So that's about it. That's basically the only side thing you get in Suramar. Everything else, this place was actually a pretty good intro, especially for, like, you know, for a max level zone. There was a lot to do here, and it was annoying because a lot of it was time locked. You know, once you got something, you had to wait till the next day, or you had to wait for like a couple days before you could get the next quest. They wouldn't just let us go, and that was really annoying. I hate it when Blizzard time locks stuff. So while Suramar was not the greatest zone, it wasn't. Of course it's nowhere near as bad as Val Shara, and I'd say it's even better than High Mountain. But you know, I'd say it's probably about as good as Zuna for me. You know, it's pretty good, and there's a lot of flat area. You know, it's not that difficult to navigate really, especially if you had the pseudo flying. So it wasn't so bad. So we're gonna be moving on to the next zone now. Okay, so here is where it began and kind of ended for us on the Broken Shore. I mean, on the Broken Isles. You know, here we are on the Broken Shore. I mean, when this was the intro place for this expansion, and it was epic. Okay, this expansion started off with an amazing intro scene. Unfortunately, we did lose Varian in the fighting, you know, but he went out like a freaking badass. Objection I did have with the beginning of this place was that we lost Vol'jin. I mean, I'm mainly an Alliance player, but they spent all of Mists of Pandaria, even from the point of view of the Alliance, they spent all of Mists of Pandaria building up Vol'jin. He does jack crap in Warlords, and then they just kill him off at the beginning of Legion. And he doesn't even go out like a badass like Varian does. He gets killed by some demon red shirt who Vol'jin killed immediately after getting impaled. That was just, God, it was a waste. That's Blizzard's second big strike here. No Varian, I mean no Wrathion, and the way they killed Vol'jin. At least Varian went out like a friggin' boss. Okay, but once you reach max level, and once we got done with Suramar in one of the patches, I think it was 7.2, came out, and then we were finally allowed to return here. I actually did a video a while ago where I explored this map. I explored this zone before it was really unlocked. This place was crawling with not it wasn't crawling with 110 elites. This thing was crawling with skull level enemies. This thing was crawling with raid bosses. And I actually tried to get a group together to come like raid the island, but it wouldn't let me. Also, if you got too close to the Tomb of Sargeras, it was actually a kill zone, and if you stayed there for like a few seconds, you would die. And I'm like, that sucks. And it's really interesting is that right over there is the Death Knight, like way out there out in the ocean, is the Death Knight Order Hall. Just you kind of think about it, they've got this place in a pincer attack. You've got Dalaran up there, and the Death Knight Order Hall. Right, oh, there it is, right over there. This place was pretty damn annoying. I mean, when it got introed as a max level zone, the intro was pretty cool. You know, fighting to get a foothold on the Broken Shore, bringing in all the allies we've worked together to get. You know, that was really cool. But once we were here, you know, everything was once again time locked. You know, you couldn't do everything all at once, and there was a long quest chain, and you had to complete the quest chain to get your Order Hall mounts. And a lot of that was time locked. You could only do it like one in a week or one in a day, you know. And then I was so grateful when they untime locked it, so my other characters were actually able to just blaze right through it, and I was able to collect everything. But once again, other than the time locking, you know, this was pretty standard. And this is also the start of one of the hidden quests. You know, the super secret quest where you go on a chain. You go on a chain of you know, looking for crap hidden all over the world, or at least all over the islands here, and you get a super secret mount. You get the Riddler's Mind Worm, and you got that from defeating a boss. And that was actually pretty interesting. I'm not going to explore it, but I'm just going to show you the zone right here. The Eye of Ajara. This is actually a dungeon, and it's actually a whole...
the best time to plant
it's actually a whole zone. You can actually go here on its own.
Second best time.
And in fact, the world quest is up right now. There's the boss. You can actually get down there and fight him. Kosumoth the Hungerer. And he either drops you a pet, or he drops you the mount, which is one of the underwater mounts, and it's actually really useful to get an underwater mount, and that's actually going to be useful in the next expansion, so I recommend you do it. You can look it up on YouTube on how to do the quest. It's a long thing to do. You got to go all over the damn place, and I'm going to tell you, it helps to have some water breathing. Okay, I'm just putting that out right there. Okay, other than that, there really isn't anything special about this zone. I mean, there was the quest chain to get the mother lode thing, which was actually a really good way of getting what do you call those stupid things? The nether shards. This was a really good way of getting them if you knew what to do. It would also get you extra Order Hall resources and stuff like that. But once again, it was time locked. You could only do one of the quests per day, and there was like 6 of them, and it was annoying. Also, this was the place that dropped that has the that had the higher level world bosses that dropped some decent gear, so that was pretty good. And of course, there's a dungeon in our raid, the Tomb of Sargeras. The Tomb of Sargeras was a great raid. So I would give this place as a max level zone. I actually say it's not as good as Suramar was. It's not as good as Suramar was better.
Volunteer to go through a portal.
So
one of our patrols has been trapped behind the
so it's not the best zone, but it's not the worst zone either. That's still Val Shara. And there isn't really any side stuff other than the
stoops to corrupt.
Shut the hell up. There are a lot of world quests on this place. You know, you can see they tend to cluster. But I mean, there wasn't really anything special about this place. But all that got changed when we went into the next area, alright? So, the next max level zone isn't one zone, it's actually 3 zones in one. So, we're going to be checking on the final place is a trip to Argos. Okay, so here we are on Argos. Okay, what can I say about this place? It's not my favorite zone, but I can see and appreciate this was done masterfully. I can't show you much of an aerial view, because this is like the Timeless Isle back in the day. You can't fly here. But you can see a lot from up here. I mean, where it starts, the intro scene for this, the way it started, it was all amazing. The storyline is great. And this place actually has a max level zone. Okay, because you can't just be max level to go here. You have to have insane gear to go here. And that's here. Okay, so these are the Antoran Wastes, and this place is a max level zone. This place is crawling with super powerful 110 elites. It's also where the final raid of the expansion is located. You know, and there is, well, mostly this is where you're going to find usually the most powerful world quest. And this is something that kind of pisses me off, is this is also where the greater invasion point tends to appear the most often. You know, this is where you fight the world boss that actually drops heroic level gear for basically gear on par with Antorus heroic, and that kind of cheeses me because they're always here and it's always kind of a pain in the ass. Though this place does have a flaw though, because Blizzard promised us that we were gonna have plenty of teleporters all over the place in order to navigate. So, well, you won't be able to fly here, but there'll be ample teleporters, you know, to get everywhere. This place has, well, right now I have 2, but there's a 3rd one that's supposed to be unlocked here. What happened to it? There used to be one there. I mean, I've done the quest that got me that teleporter. It's like they erased it or something, but so that makes it actually worse. We only have like 3 teleporters, and you know, sometimes shit appears all the way the hell over here. So that's kind of like an annoying. Though my favorite thing about this place is actually the mid-level area here is Makari. Okay, so here's Makari, and this place is a nice break from the constant green of the rest of it. And look at this. This is just so cool. You can see like what's left of a city, a massive metropolitan city, just kind of floating up there because this place was smashed off of Argos. And you can see what's Argos all the way down there, and you see that big green patch. That's probably where Makari was lifted out of the ground. And you can see Azeroth in the distance. I mean, this is just so cool. And you can see the Legion ships are heading toward Azeroth. You know, I mean, this place was just masterfully done. This whole zone is like, you know, it's like the mid area of Argos, but it's very cool. And there's a lot here. I mean, look at all this. I mean, this place actually has a good amount of teleporters, and they're actually decently placed, so you can get wherever it is you need to go. Not like the Antoran Wastes that has like 2 teleporters, and you basically got to run everywhere to go everywhere. The quest line here was pretty cool, though I would have liked it to have been fleshed out more because there's some side characters that seem pretty important, but they don't really do anything. Like there's a guardian who guards like a old magic school here, and he's pretty much a complete asshole, but they don't explain who he is. You know, he seems to be like he was supposed to be important, but then he's not. And of course this is where the dungeon is, where you fight Lura. I mean, it's really cool. This is a really good dungeon. I mean, it's a really good dungeon. It's a really good zone. You know, I mean, seeing this empty spot over here, I mean, you can even see what look like buildings out here. It makes me wonder if this zone was actually supposed to be much larger than it actually turned out to be. Like, you know, Blizzard has a tendency to cut corners and such. I'm not going down there to explore because, like I said, there's no flying here. So I'm just going to be heading back to Dalaran, and I'm going to give you my guys' final thoughts on all the zones. And then I'm going to give you guys, you know, what I thought of some of the professions. Okay, so I'm in Dalaran, and this is the hub for all of your profession needs. You know, there's all this stuff here. Professions were done pretty well here in Legion. I really did like the profession quests we got to do. It actually made you feel more involved with the professions. I did a lot of the ones for engineering and blacksmithing and such. The only problem with the professions is, unlike Draenor, which had your professions were very accessible, you know, like everything for your professions was really at your fingertips, and you got to upgrade your weapons to a pretty high level. With this, I mean, things got left behind really, really damn fast. You could eventually upgrade your weapons, like, you know, pretty good, but it was actually faster just to hunt for the gear yourself, rather than waste your time, you know, doing the quests and getting all the materials just to upgrade the damn thing. It was a real pain in the ass. And that's kind of a flop on Blizzard's part. You know, the quests, I mean, they gave us the quests and everything. It was really cool to do that and stuff. And then some of the things, one thing that, this actually pissed me off. This is something I'm going to be rambling on about, guys, and I'm sorry about this. But I think I've even done a video on this before. But they even promised in BlizzCon, before the BlizzCon before Legion was released, they promised us that they were going to stop nerfing engineering, and engineering is going to start feeling like its own profession again, and it was actually going to feel like it was actually worth something again, because engineering had been getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, because you used to be able to equip all these different things to all different parts of your armor all over your body to get all these different added on abilities. A lot of people said that engineering almost felt like an extra, having two classes, and that was really cool, and it was a great money maker for other people, because people who were engineers would spend a lot of gold in order to expand their what they could build. But in Legion, they said they were going to stop nerfing engineering. Instead, we got one of the biggest nerfs. This is what we get as a perk. You see this guy here? He's the auction house for Legion, you know, here in this hub, but he can only be accessed by engineers, which is kind of a middle finger to everybody else. Well, see, engineers have something. This is completely freaking retarded. You know, it's completely pointless. Just like the one that was in the sanctuary back in Mists of Pandaria a long time ago. You know, this is basically worthless. All right, and this is one thing that really pissed me off, and that was this thing here. You know, see, I'm going to summon him. All right, this is Reeves. Okay, he's actually one of the coolest things about this expansion. Okay, you find pieces from a Fel Reaver, and you actually work together with these goblins to rebuild it so it becomes your own personal minion. Alright, and this is what he can do. There's repair mode, which is really cool, because you can use it to basically just repair your equipment. Failure detection mode, which revives everybody once you get a wipe. Snack distribution mode, which is like a cheap feast, which doesn't really require any resources, though you of course had to. And bling mode, which turns them into a blingtron. And piloted combat mode. Okay, so each of these modes you had to buy the recipes, like a node, in order to build these nodes, and then like equip them to Reeves. They were pretty easy to do. This one was a complete bitch though, the piloted combat mode. And it makes sense that it would be a bitch, because it's the coolest damn thing in existence. Watch this. Piloted combat mode. Check this shit out. Okay, I am in a giant robot. Okay, and you have access to everything you can build in this robot. Everything you would normally build, you know, you can use this robot for. For example, like, you've got the explosive from this game, the gunpowder charge. You've got the bullet dispenser, which is a gun turret. You've got a bandage gun, which allows you to heal yourself. And you've got the gun pack, which isn't really spectacular, but does this. Allows you to jump up, and then, boom, pushes you in a direction. You know, and it keeps you from killing yourself. It's actually kind of useful in a PvP situation. And it looks really cool, and it is really great to have these things, right? So, you know, what's the problem? Well, it was a bitch to get this, because you had to grind a lot of old raids to get this stuff. You know, and I was so excited by getting this. I was so eager to see what I was going to be able to do with this thing. You know, I was so curious about it. And once I saw what its capabilities were, I was like ecstatic. I'm like, wow, this thing is really badass. And then I got basically reality kicked me in the nuts. I found out that this thing, while it's really cool, Blizzard has made it completely worthless. And that is because this thing cannot be used for anything. This thing can't be used for anything because it's if you try to use it to complete a world quest, like to kill things for a world quest, you will not get credit for the world quest. All right? And you see, I just killed that thing. I don't even get anything for it. You know, I mean, it's a completely worthless thing. I tried to use it to defeat a world boss, and I couldn't get anything from the world boss because, you know, you apparently use this robot to kill a world boss, you don't get credit for it. You use this to complete a world quest, you don't get credit for it. You can't use it in a dungeon or a raid. You know, I mean, you can't even use it anywhere other than here on the Broken Isles. I mean, look at this thing doesn't even have that high of health. It's got 10 grand health. My monk has like 5 times this amount of health. You know, it's not like this thing is invincible. It doesn't even do a lot of damage. These bombs, back when they were before the nerf, before the squish, they only did about 500k damage, and this thing would give you a little bit more damage. But that was it. You didn't really get anything out of it. You know, it was just something that was really, really cool. But instead, Blizzard nerfed it so that it was completely useless. You couldn't get credit for anything by using this thing. And this is why Blizzard really, really failed in this. Because this thing is not worth... While it's cool looking and all, it is so not worth the trouble of getting it. I mean, it took me months to get this thing because I can only do the raids once a week or a couple times a week if you go for different difficulties. But it's just so completely freaking redonkulous that you go through all this trouble and you can't even get anything for it that lets you do anything.
I do not have a target.
You see, I can't even loot this. Well, it won't let me loot it, but because I'm in the robot. But it's just, oh man, I just can't stand it that we don't really get anything for it. It is so freaking cool. They gave us one of the coolest things ever, and they made it worthless. Anyway, so sorry about the rambling, but that's basically Legion. You know, my review on Legion. It was a really, really good expansion. However, Blizzard had a few major flops. This is one. Raytheon is another one. And, what was it? So, overall, Legion wasn't really that great. I'm being attacked by somebody. So, Legion in some regards wasn't really that great. Yet in other ones, it was just so supreme. The story overall was amazing. The cutscenes were amazing. You could tell, like, all the content that should have been in Draenor basically got squeezed into this one. There's so much content. So overall, I would give Legion basically an A. It's not an A+ because of the major flaws that it does have. I'm sorry about that. That's all I can say. So I hope you guys, this put Legion in perspective for you guys. I hope you guys thought it was interesting. Sorry about my constant bitching and ranting, but please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, you know, if you like this video. If you didn't like this video, suggest in the comments what else you guys want to see. you know, trying to get some more stuff on my game channel here. You know, hopefully it will be, you know, good stuff for you guys. So tune in, well, not every day here for new content, but go to my main channel for every day for new content. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.